So in 70s, internet was a military project, yeah? And in 80s, it became academic projects and corporates started taking it up. In 90s, it became more social. And now the millennials hacked it. It's completely social now, yeah? And there is a whole, wave of underground dark web going on. I'm sure you guys are pretty well aware of the dark web. It's a multi-billion-dollar projects, highly secure, very great privacy, yeah? You can do anything and everything over there without anyone knowing, correct? So, I'm sure you guys will be familiar with Silk Route, not talking about the Chinese Silk Route, the portal which is in the dark web. The largest commodity is drugs. Anyone can get anything. I heard someone saying, if you're an ethical customer, you can get a very organic drug, cocaine, maybe organic, not from the Colombian mafia, it might be from the Guatemala farms. Things happening over there. And no one can control. At least it's more safer than people coming into physical contact on that trade, because people are not meeting physically. You order something and get it delivered at your home, without any issues. The hackers are evolving a lot. I heard from, DGP of Maharashtra talking last week on the IRCTC scandal. A kid who was hardly educated, high school educated, he go to the dark web and download some codings and create a software to hack IRCTC. He created a software wherein the bookings are already hacked and he makes millions. The guy gets arrested, he comes out after a couple of months, again create a new code. Yeah? So we've been talking a lot of technology, all those things. The hackers keep on evolving on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, it's an arms race. They might be in the 6th or 7th generation. We are still 4th or 5th. There's a lot to catch up, right? I've heard that, for example, if I talk about my olden days, 12 years before I was in Bangalore, and I was working in an Indian company, and whenever there is a cricket fever, we all go to office and we try to search for a feed where I can get the score. Nowadays, it's people stream online. The admins stop it, block it. We still find a different way to, unlock it and find a new link and stream it. I want you guys to watch this video.
Let's go, people. This is not a drill. Real Madrid and Arsenal are going into a penalty shootout, and I am not watching alone.
What's an Arsenal?
An English soccer team that just got us out of work for a while.
I'm in. Yeah, sports.
Let's go.
I got a call in 10 minutes.
Reschedule. This is huge.
No, it's Whitmore. I've been trying to talk to him for months. Maybe I can watch it from my desk. Team player. Okay, watch your favorite team live anywhere on any screen.
Including this one. Let's get this thing downloaded.
Hold up, Doug. Why would you automatically assume this app is safe?
Why do you automatically assume everything isn't?
It's called healthy skepticism.
It's called paranoia. I'm not going to let Doug buy into it.
You can't just start downloading software.
Yes, you can. Right here. Download now.
Do you know anyone else who uses Team Player?
I wish to pause there, because what you see, these two people, individuals, it was the same when I was in Bangalore working there. I had a human error on my left side and a sound judgment on my right side. The sound judgment says, the IT said, don't click on links or open the website which are blocked. You're not supposed to do that. On my left side, the human error says, just go ahead, forget about that people. I can break the laws. Yeah? It's very interesting. It happens on a daily basis in your organization, and you can relate this to your employees, right? Sorry. Start playing again. So, let me see if I can click on this and bring out a website over here. Can you all see this? World's biggest data breaches and hacks. How many of you are here from healthcare industry? One. How many of you are from finance industry here? Great. You guys are no more important. He's the most important guy now. Because usually the credit cards were of interest for the hackers. They take the information and do transactions. But the moment you do a transaction, the banks stop it. Whereas if it's a patient history, it's available on the dark web for one history of a patient for $10. You buy it, you make a bogus claim and claim with the insurance money, and it never gets tracked. If you look over here, there's at least more than 1 billion username and passwords shared. Marriott is an example, Kareem is an example, Facebook, Equifax, plenty. Yeah? One thing is unique, no one is spared. Any industry is targeted. I'm not spared, you're not spared. Right? Let me close it. I want to show you a website. Not sure if I can show it here. It works, the internet, yeah? Am I? Yeah. That's great. Val will help me. Amar will help me, sorry. I'm not sure how many of you have seen this particular portal. How many of you have seen this? Anyone? Great. And if you put most of your Gmail addresses, it will show you. For example, I can put mine or you can put yours.
No, I'm not going to put mine.
You don't want to get scared.
Well, I've got a very humble email address, a very old one.
That's nice.
Very, very modest. This is when Gmail first came out. I have through the Adobe. I know.
So it shows you.
If you haven't checked, it's really a good time to go and check. Sorry, go on Adobe. There you go. Ooh, even Bitly, even Dropbox. Oh. Okay, that's interesting.
So you guys might have to check this, and if in case it comes like this, you would want to go change your password.
I know. Don't go and try. Don't go and try the email address and password, please. Yeah. This is run by what's the name now? But it's free to use. Yeah. They have some APIs, so you can actually connect to it and get people to check. Have I been pawned?
Yeah. Can I go back to my present?
Yes.
Great. 94% of organizations experience phishing attacks. We did a survey, global survey of 1,025 organizations, and 94% have been targeted. You guys are one of them. Yeah? 88% experience email-based spoofing of your vendors or business partners. Now, hackers used to send a link initially, infect it, and send it to you. Those were the initial days. Now, they don't target you. They target the people who you talk to on a regular basis, your customers, your suppliers, your partners. And they go and impersonate that particular organization and send an email to you guys. The victim is you, but the target is them, right? It's very common. 77% of impersonation attack victims dealt with a direct resulting loss. It's a financial loss I'm talking about. So I was with a shipping company not Maersk, I was with a shipping company in Dubai, and we were discussing in detail what happened. He showed me an email. He said, this is an email which came to my accountant from a supplier. You know, the vessels travels globally, and they get a very small time frame to refuel. It can be any place, so they just inform the port that we are arriving and we need this much amount of fuel, and that's the time they get. At times, certain countries, they may not give a credit, so they need to transfer the fund so that they secure the fuel. Now, it seems during this time frame, there was an invoice raised to the accountant from the fueling company, and they paid the money. And when the ship arrived at the port, they said, we didn't receive any money yet. So the shipping company said, we raised an invoice, we got an invoice, we paid the money, and it's credited to your bank account. They checked, it's not. It's very common. So he showed me the invoice. It looks very legitimate. There is a stamp, there is a letter pad, everything is perfect. Now what has happened here? We looked into the history. So when the CFO and the organization used to have an interaction, there was a credential harvesting last year in 2018 for Microsoft, and the username and password were breached. And the hacker took control of the mailbox. And he was sitting behind the mailbox for 6 to 7 months and trying to understand how this particular CFO communicate. What's his language? Who all he is talking to on a regular basis. So when it's time to land an attack, he landed. And it's not a basic impersonation like changing an alphabet, like changing I to an L. It's very common. Or M with an R and N. It's very common. It was Cyrillic code, homoglyph. I'm not sure, have you guys heard of homoglyph? How many of you heard of homoglyph? That's interesting. Let me show. If you look at the screen, you can see apple.com. It looks exactly apple.com, right? But it is a phrase. Now, Cyrillic code or homoglyph is a genuine language in the Eastern Europe. Yeah? Exactly looks like the English language. It's non-Western. Since it's a genuine language, you know, the legacy security technology systems which you deploy cannot stop it. Yeah? I can show you an example. I made a quick video of my own laptop where I'm going to a Google browser and typing in, for example. So this is a homoglyph attack generator. I'm going to take Microsoft.com.
Obviously, the caveat is please don't use this for nefarious purposes. This is only for education.
The resolution is not that clear, but it's actually Microsoft.com, and I'm changing an C in it. So you can see the C is changed. And I'm copying, pasting it. You see the phrase which is coming? Maybe if it's not clear after the session, I can show you exactly how to, use a homoglyph character on your website. Yeah? This is very easily available. And what hackers do, they create a domain, they register the domain. Since it's relay code, it's legitimate. No one can stop them registering it. They create SPF records, they do everything. Looks so legitimate. Now that's a real Microsoft website, whereas the previous one, what I showed was a homoglyph generated domain. Now this is what is happening in today's world. Hackers are using impersonation tactics which are evading most of the technology what you have deployed, right? Amar was talking about SIM solutions, all the technologies, whatever you have implemented. As CISOs, you're not able to stop an attack on your email. We are not able to secure a basic email yet. And if 91% of the threats are landing through email, if you secure that, it's good, yeah? But is that the end? If you secure, that's good, number one. Number two, if in case an attack happens, or if there is an outage in your email solution, there is a business disruption, right? 86% of organizations that experienced a ransomware attack had downtime lost for 2 days at least. Atlanta Municipality is a government organization in the US. They went offline for 2 weeks without any access to email. It was a ransomware attack. Can you imagine your email going down for 2 weeks? And they had to pay some money and they couldn't recover anything. It's very common. Yeah? 3 days is the average time to recover for organizations that had suffered an email-based attack. Interesting. Now, when we did the global survey, 59% of organizations said we had a solid cyber resilience strategy in place. How many of you test it? They say, oh, we have a wonderful auditing team and Deloitte, KPMG, or whatever it is, and they have tested it, it's working fine. No offense if in case Deloitte or KPMG is here. I'm saying they review what you have done. They don't really switch off your Exchange or Office 365 and test whether emails are still flowing. Yeah? You guys might have heard of China Hustle, right? 400 organizations were shortlisted in the US during 2008 to 2012. And most of the people were saying that we have been auditing them. But when they did a real physical audit, it was bogus companies which never existed in China. All of a sudden, people lost money, $14 billion. And out of the 400 organizations, one CEO went to jail. So imagine the hackers who are behind you guys might be from China, can be from Russia, can be from North Korea. How will you go behind them as legally? It's impossible. So you need to have a robust cyber resilience strategy for your organization. Number one. Number two, you need to test it continuously. And I've been talking cyber resilience. What is it? It's an organization's capability to face a cyber attack. And when that happens, continue the business without any disruption. Yeah? So assure the business that the mails are continue to follow without any disruption. And eventually, if a breach happens, you need to recover in minutes with protecting all the integrity, confidentiality of the data. That's cyber resilience. We can talk cyber resilience for days on different technology, but on email, it's pretty critical because email is the largest communication tool in your organization. Can you imagine it's not working? As a CISO, you won't be able to sleep well. Yeah? Great. And these attacks happen when you move to cloud. Yeah? Most of the organizations are adapting cloud. Or as Amar said, might be on hybrid or completely on cloud nowadays. Now, when you move to cloud, you're exposing yourself to a different vendor. You had all the legacy systems on premise, Exchange or whatever it is, and you had 1, 2, 3 layers of security then. Now, when you go to Office 365 or Google, sometimes organizations assume, oh, Microsoft will take care of my security. When you were on premise, you never did that. Why do you assume that Microsoft or the vendor who you're going to put the mailing solution is going to secure your environment? Data is your responsibility. Security is your responsibility. Gartner says, don't put all the eggs in one basket. It's not Gartner, my dad used to say that. Gartner said, don't rely on a single vendor for security. Yeah? Now, it's a defense arms race. 10 or 15 years before, it was just a spam or virus. And you used to build this antivirus or anti-malware solution, and we were pretty happy with that. The hackers evolved. They started targeting a URL. They're infecting a URL. They infected a URL and put it in an attachment and sent it to you. Now you need to build your technology systems to stop those attacks. Now some technology systems stop the attack at the gateway level. Imagine you get a news link today, ndtv.com/page, which is very clean. Perfect. The gateway allowed it, and the user read the news. It's a legitimate news. If the same page is compromised next week, and the user go back to his email and click on it, most of the technology will pass it through because I checked it once. Why do I check it again? So hackers are pretty intelligent to evade all these techniques. What next? They started impersonating one of your employee or your domain. They again started impersonating your supply chain or the people you talk to on a regular basis. It's an arms race. So they find out new tactics and you try to improve your technology. So we are trying to catch up actually, right? And there is a gap. Now if in case there is a plenty of spams or phishing attacks,
carry on.
if I go to the, today's news, instead of looking at the weather, I look at today's phishing attacks. How many other? That's very common nowadays. Now, there is a lot of human element required to manage these. You need a lot of skills to manage these. Yeah? And there is definitely a lot of deficiency in the market. If you get a very good security person, if he's really good, he will switch on to a new job. He'll not stay longer. Yeah? So if you had the technology to secure the environment, and which is self-healing, there is some kind of data sharing between them, and eventually promise you or commits that I will take care of the environment 100%. This is what you need, right? You don't need those many human or resources to manage that false positive or to monitor the issues what you face on a daily basis. Now, email is not purely security. You need to ensure the continuity of the email, right? If in case there is a breach, or if in case there is outage, how many of you are in Office 365 today? Wow, that's amazing. It's an amazing, vendor. It's an amazing technology. You should use it. You should benefit out of the feature. But the number of outages they had last 5 years have been more than 22. I think the longest outage was in Seattle for 13 hours. May not be your organization is affected, maybe a subset of users. But what if that happens to you? Will you be able to continue your email? One of the security folk told me, Microsoft is down, what should I do? See, you can't say that to your business, right? You need your email to continue running. Now, how many of you have a continuity strategy in place when that happens? And when that continuity is there, with all the DLPs should be in place, right? Your outbound policy should be in place. Imagine a breach happened and your data is stolen. You're a data hostage now, right? Ransomware, it happens on a very regular basis. In the place where I come from, people don't open up a lot, but when we sit and have a lot of meetings, they say, okay, this has happened to me. Now, if that happens to you, how quickly you can recover your data? How can you recover a mailbox which is completely wiped off? Or we have a backup, we have a DR, but how much time it will take? And continue the business without any interruption, eventually recover the data in minutes without affecting the integrity, confidentiality of the data. Yeah? Cool. These are some basic recommendations, what I covered now. You should design a solid cyber resilience strategy for your organization, for email. If 91% of threats are coming through email, and if you have a solid security system in place to stop it, amazing, you're covered. Now there is another thing. Most of these links are executed through a web. Why don't you combine a web security as well? That's it. And awareness is very important. Whoever talks that I'll secure your environment 100% is bullshit. Sorry. You need to improve the awareness of your employees, right? And sending those emails saying that please don't click the link, it's boring. I will delete it. I will not read it. You need to have something interesting, innovative, creative, way of communicating or improving the awareness within your organization, right? Can you
click on
that? It's an interesting video. It goes to a portal, yeah.
It goes to a website?
Yeah. Just drag it on full screen. Thank you, Amar.
No. No. Come on. Okay. No.
Prayers, Dougie. It's night-night time. Finish them now. No, what? Hey, don't pause.
Congratulations. You won a Caribbean cruise for 2. I won?
That's awesome.
No, Doug, nobody won.
Why would you squash his dreams like that?
Because that's not real.
There's a picture of a real boat. All you gotta do is click on the link for more information. Ship's finally come in, bud. Doug sailing away. Click it.
Do not click on that link. You don't know who sent it to you. Don't take the
No,
bait.
click it, though.
Be strong, Doug. Doesn't even look like that great of a boat anyway.
That's not even a real site. I didn't win anything.
You're still a winner to me, Bob.
Come on.
You loser.
What happened?
Because you're a loser.
I had the sword.
You should have played your sword earlier.
It just pops up. I can't click anything.
Why don't you guys taste this for me?
Yeah, that's ransomware. They get in and encrypt your files. Now they want money to unlock them.
Okay, wait. How did they get in?
Bad attachment, suspicious link. Did you click on anything you shouldn't have recently?
Hey, whatever Dougie Fresh does in the privacy of his own home.
Yeah, I thought I won a free cruise. I got an email.
You clicked on that?
You sound pretty judgy. You better watch your tone.
It had a picture of a real boat. Come on.
Okay, look, I can't tell you what to do. Only you know how much those files are worth. And who knows if the payment would even work.
Oh, yeah. That took a turn.
I can't believe I have to pay this.
And maybe you don't. When's the last time you backed up?
What? I don't know. When's the last time you backed up?
Been a while. Caution to the wind. I like it.
I have to go.
Wait. Can you lend me $500?
No.
Hey, we'll get the money. Sell your G.I. Joes, have a bake sale, something like that. God, whoa. Man, you want to pull this?
That's Doug, that character. So I'm sure your organization have a lot of Dougs, which you want to improve the awareness, yeah? It happened in Middle East. You know, one of the largest oil and gas company, there was an email which came in with an attachment, an exe file, which was in the environment for 8 months. No one spotted it. After 8 months, the guy executed it. Boom, something like Maersk. They had to go and plug off the computers. Maersk lost $300 million. That's what they say, almost.
So one thing we've seen, I mean, not to take your thunder away, one client ran a phishing, anyone done a phishing exercise? Everyone doing phishing training? So one client is interesting thing he saw, he ran a phishing exercise 9 months later. 9 months later, people were still opening that email. So let that sink in for a second, yeah? Not 1 month, not 2 months, that close to 1 year, 9 months to 12 months later, people were still opening that phishing testing email. And if you think about automation, orchestration, a lot of executives ask me what's the one thing they should automate. If you can automate deleting all your malicious emails with 1 click, for example, honestly, that's one of the things you should aim for. If someone reports, if anyone here says, oh, there's a phishing email that's come in, it's bad, something that should be automated is the ability to take all those emails from other inboxes and either archive them, don't delete them, but at least put them somewhere where no one can touch. Honestly, that's one of the most safest things you can do. Email, as we discuss Ukraine, if you don't know about the Ukraine attack, go and take a look. Regardless of how sophisticated it was, it all started by email. It's sad and shocking, to say the least.
Correct. As CISOs, you need to plan and have a solid cyber resilience strategy. And it's an old saying, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. So let's do it together, because I also don't have a 100% strategy in place. We can discuss together and tailor make one, because every organization needs a unique strategy on their cyber resilience, because the business need is different, right? So Mimecast is a public listed company in NASDAQ. We founded in 2003. Globally, we have around 34,400 customers. And NPS stands for Net Promoter Score, where a customer refers us to another customer. 55 is a pretty good one. We have 12 data centers globally, and we process almost 527 million emails a day. We are more than Facebook, I think, looks like 40 petabytes of archived data. So we help organization to build a solid cyber resilience strategy. So if in case you want to have one, let's meet. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Amar. Cheers.